Hello and welcome to another Warframe video. So I've finally finished my endgame build and setup for Mesa, and, in this video, I will be sharing all of the things I've learned about this awesome Warframe, and how I build her for endgame plays. So, let's cut any long introduction and begin this video guide. Okay, let's head to my endgame build first for Mesa. Before we start discussing my build, I would just like to tell you guys that this build will mostly take advantage of Mesa's Peacemaker ability. The CC build will come later, as I find this DPS build really fun to use. Okay, let's discuss about the mods. First is Speed Holster and Streamlined Form. These mods are a must for this build as it affects your Peacemaker. The faster your holster speed is, the faster your Peacemaker refreshes, giving you more DPS. I added narrow-minded and primed continuity on my build not just to lower the energy cost of Peacemaker, but also to give duration to Mesa's Shatter Shield and Shooting Gallery. We do this because we want that longer duration for our Shatter Shield's 95% damage reduction and Shooting Gallery's damage buff. Primed Flow is a personal preference, and I usually have this mod when going on solo missions, but you can replace it with any other mods like Constitution for more duration and lesser energy drain. Also, you can replace Vitality with Intensify for more firepower. But if you're doing solo, I advise you to have Vitality on your build. And of course, Blind Rage and Transient Fortitude for lots of damage boost on our Peacemaker, and lastly, Streamline and Fleeting Expertise to really lessen the energy cost our Peacemaker. The downside of this build is that it has no range and can't CC, but who needs CC anyway if you can kill enemies in seconds. Also, the best part of having less range for this build is it makes our Peacemaker deal damage a lot faster. Now let's talk about equipment. Most Mesa pros do equip dual Doxosist on their Mesa because of the additional fire rate it gives when you land a headshot. But the thing is, I'm not a pro, and with the recent update for this secondary, which makes the fire rate duration shorter, I think that it's not a good weapon anymore for Mesa, if you're building it for Peacemaker and want that extra fire rate buff. So instead of this, I prefer having my Extilito Prime. Why? It's mostly because of personal preference, but also, it's really handy when facing nullifiers. You can pop the nullifier bubble with this gun in seconds and then Peacemaker all the rest of the enemies to oblivion. Okay, here's how I build my Extilito Prime for Mesa. The build is basically focus on getting lots of critical, lots of fire rate, and status mods of your choice, depending on the faction you're facing. Now, this is not the perfect build yet, as I'm missing some essential mods to boost my DPS even more. Specifically, I'm missing Primed Target Cracker, which will give me 110% critical damage, and I need to max my Primed Pistol Gambit also to give me that whooping 187% critical chance. I know some of you will suggest to give it more damage by equipping Magnum Force, or reserving a slot for Pummel, as we all know that Mesa's regulator pistols are more inclined towards impact damage, but, based on all my testings, I find status mods more powerful. With all the fire rate that this build have, you can proc status quite often, and imagine what it will do to heavy armored units when you have corrosive on, or corpus if you have gas procs on your build. Well, you don't need to imagine, as I will show you some demo later. For now, let's ramp up this build even more. Let's add more damage and more fire rate to it. First of all, I don't get why Arcane Precision, and as well as Arcane Awakening don't work with Mesa's Peacemaker. I mean, Mesa's regulator pistols are considered pistols, right? If not, then forgive me for asking. And if Digital Extremes thinks that this will be too overpowered, well, I guess I will just imagine how much DACA I can gain with these arcanes. If the devs decided to change things though, like make these arcanes viable for Mesa's Peacemaker, then you know what to go for. either precision or awakening. However, there's one arcane that works with Mesa's Peacemaker, and that is the Arcane Velocity, which increases the fire rate of pistols when you land a critical hit. And since I'm building my Mesa with critical, I can proc this arcane quite a lot. Okay, here's an actual demo that this arcane works perfectly with Mesa. For the survivability part of this build, I always have my handy Sentinel equipped with the Mediray mod to heal me. Also, remember that you always keep your Shatter Shield active, as this will be your main source of survivability. If you want more survivability, then you can equip a melee weapon with a Healing Return mod, or Life Strike, so you can replenish your lost health. But remember that equipping a melee weapon will forfeit Mesa's passive, which gives you 50 bonus health and 10% more fire rate if you're equipping dual-wielded sidearms, or 20% reload speed if you're equipping one-handed sidearms. If you value those numbers, then stick with your Shatter Shield, Sentinel and your skills to avoid enemy attacks like a ninja. But if you think that those numbers aren't that valuable, then equip a melee weapon. Okay, I know you guys are craving for some demo on how awesome this build is. So here are some. Overall, I really can say that this is a pretty solid build, and I love my Mesa because of this build. Now, I don't know if you guys will like this build too, but I definitely suggest that you try it out for yourself. I'm pretty sure that you too will have tons of fun killing those enemies in a couple of seconds with a burst of your Peacemaker. I'm sorry if I haven't got a video featuring this build on endgame levels like sortie assassinations or something like that, but rest assured that I will post some vids once that kind of sortie missions pops out. So that's it. Hope that you will enjoy my Mesa build and find this video informative. If you find this video useful, then please do me a favor and hit that like button. Also, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to join my notification squad and receive daily Warframe videos. Thank you so much for watching, and see you on my next video.